Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Dychronic here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Xur for December 27, 2019. The literal last Xur of 2019 is upon us, and it actually reminds me of about 3 years ago. I was doing the last Xur of the year, and I was so fed up of getting up around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning in Destiny 1's reset time, which was at 2 a.m. in the morning, and I decided, you know what, this is the last Xur I'm ever going to do, screw you. So I got up, dropped my pants, turned around, and I mooned the Xur, and I said, I ain't doing this again. And then, well, 3 years later, I'm still working for the man, and I haven't stopped. But to be fair, Destiny 2's reset time of 9 a.m., 10 a.m. is way better for Pacific Coast, and maybe a little worse for people in, like, Russia, but not too bad for most of the world. And of course, today I'm not at my regular setup because of the Christmas holidays, so I'm going to be giving you a bunch of different pictures. I did capture all of the random rolls, so I can still give you all my recommendations. You can find the Xur in his regular location on the EDZ, so head over to the Winding Cove, make your way all the way up on top of the mountain, and should be finding him in his regular spot. This is going to be a high overview of everything that the Xur has available. Moving on, let's go ahead and get started with the weapon. Today, the weapon is going to be the Fighting Lion. Now, the Fighting Lion, most people know it and understand it. It's going to be a primary ammo energy grenade launcher. Now, these are one of those single fire grenade launchers that are usually special ammo, but in this case, it's a primary ammo weapon, making it very useful for going for a lot of the grenade bounties for whatever you're doing, and in general, just a weapon that's kind of fun. Now, I had to grind with this weapon for a long time once the Halloween event came around, and it gave us the catalyst to get like 1,000 kills with the thing, but the thing is actually a lot of fun to use, and I highly recommend you use it if you haven't already. Now, if you've never actually heard of the weapon before, it has two main perks. First of all, delayed gratification. Grenades bounce off of surfaces, and you hold down the button and release it when you want to detonate it. So basically, you air burst it wherever you want it to explode. And the second one, direct impacts do more damage to enemy combatants' shields, and rapid kills with the grenade damage-based enemies refill the magazine, and kills always drop primary ammo. So this weapon is a primary ammo weapon. Anytime you get kills with it, it drops primary ammo everywhere. I've actually lagged out a lot of games by the amount of primary ammo it drops on the ground. So overall, is this a good weapon? No, not really, but it's kind of fun. And sometimes in PvP, you can do decent things with it. Moving on to the Hunter exotic, we have Mechanier's Trick Sleeve. Its main perk, spring-loaded mounting, increases the sidearm ready and reload speed, and when you're critically wounded, swapping to a sidearm increases its damage. Now, in general, I'm not much of a sidearm user. I know a lot of people have been growing on sidearms ever since the Recluse nerf. Sidearms have kind of been rising in the meta as far as just absolute DPS for primary ammo weapons, but just in general, in my opinion, sidearms are still not at a place that I would prefer using them over a Recluse. On top of that, the main perk of this, being able to swap to a sidearm to increase its damage, is something that's very powerful to do. However, the only instance that really makes sense is if you're using a sniper and a sidearm, or another primary and a sidearm, because you have to have a longer range something to swap over to your sidearm. And if you're critically wounded and you have something in sidearm range that you need to handle with the sidearm, most likely you shouldn't have been using the sniper rifle in the first place. So it's just kind of like a badly constructed exotic because it just only makes sense for primary ammo weapons. Now, obviously, this thing came out with the base game when it was only primary ammos. There was no special ammo weapons. But that being said, I think they need to change this very slightly to be more adjusted to the meta. As far as the role goes for the Trick Sleeve, the primary in recovery is really nice to have because if you're getting critically wounded a lot, you want to be recovering from that as soon as you can. And a secondary in strength does not really synergize well with it, so kind of like a middling to above average role for kind of below average exotic. Moving on to the Warlock exotic, we have the Stag. Its main perk, Dearly Departed, grants rift energy when you're critically wounded, and on death, you create a healing rift on your corpse, which is basically a kind of homage to your teammates if you're nearby, just being like, stay alive, I'm helping you with this last little thing. Now, the Warlock has a lot of exotics that have to do with his rift, and the Stag, in my opinion, is not nearly the best one. So in general, I don't really find many circumstances that I would find the Stag useful over using any of the other ones. My personal favorite is still going to be Lunafaction Rift. Being able to double your range on those rifts, being able to make it so you can reload as fast as possible on your rifts is still the best in my opinion. As far as the roles going, having a primary in recovery is a definitely big synergy with this item, and a secondary in intellect is definitely nice to have. So a very above average role for an averaging exotic. And finally, for the Titan exotic, we have the MK44 Stand-Asides. Its main perk, Seriously Watch Out, grants an overshield while you're sprinting at full health with Seismic Strike, Hammer Strike, or Shield Bash / equipped. And hits with these abilities recharge a portion of your melee energy. Now those 3 items are going to be your shoulder charge abilities for the 3 different subclass nodes for the Titan. In general, I don't really find the overshield that you have to be at full health to be able to even get with those shoulder charge nodes equipped. It doesn't really do much. That overshield is basically 1 bullet from 1 primary ammo shot. It's not worth it, and it's also only right in front of you. It's not a full overshield all around you. Now they have actually buffed this since I've used it last, that last little part where hits with the abilities recharge a portion of your melee energy, so I don't know how much melee energy that is. If it's a full melee, then that might actually be useful. Definitely something that goes on par with Insurmountable Skullfort, but I don't think it does that because then Insurmountable Skullfort would be made useless. So not really something that I find very useful because you don't really tank that much more and you also don't really get that much melee energy. It's kind of like a middling ground for a lot of things and does nothing really. As far as the roles go, having a primary in mobility, secondary in strength is a perfect synergy for this exotic, so definitely above average, great synergy for this exotic, for an exotic that's kind of below average. And that's going to be pretty much it for the Xur today. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions, concerns, tips, tricks, concerns, or tips, or even tricks. You can let me know in the comments below. You can tell I didn't get really much sleep that night. Anyways, it's the end of the video. Hope you guys did enjoy. I'll see you guys on the next one.